Hi, my name's Amanda Easton. I'm a performer, singer-songwriter from Sydney, Australia. I make retro-inspired theatrical electronic pop. But when I'm not doing my own music, I do cabaret, cover band gigs, solo gigs, tribute shows, recording sessions. Welcome to my Circle of Life vlog.
But I'll be watching you from here.
At least I'm wearing bright orange, so I'm hoping that that'll be a little bit of sunshine in your day. I hope wherever you are in the world that you're doing okay. I know it's a strange world we live in at the moment, and I'm certainly trying to stay positive. Anyway, it's been actually a very exciting week for me. On Friday night, I went out into the real world, and well, the real world-ish, and did a big concert live stream, which was part of what DFP, Dan Fabian Productions, are putting together at the moment. They've set up pretty much a TV studio in their premises because they're a big production company who do a lot of corporate events and things like that, and there's obviously not a lot of corporate event work happening at the moment. So instead of just sitting on their hands, they have got all this fantastic high-end equipment and staff that they've put to good use and have created this brand new concert live streaming platform, which was such a pleasure to be part of. On Friday night we did a show, the First Ladies of Soul, and you can still watch the show even if you didn't get to see it live. And if you go to DFP on YouTube, or you'll find the links on my Facebook page too, it's absolutely free to watch, and so please go in and have a look. We had an absolute ball, we girls just getting together with the band and doing the show after not working for about 3.5 months was such a pleasure. And then, you know, it never rains but it pours. On the following night, on the Saturday night, Joe Elms, who's in the First Ladies as well, and I did a little duo gig at Dom's in Penrith. And get this, there were 3,000 people there. I'm not suggesting they were all there to see us, but there were 3,000 people there. Apparently, it was that particular night that the restrictions changed to allow 3,000 people to go into a venue. So, you know, little bit confronting after being in my house with 2 other people and a cat for 3.5 months, and then suddenly I'm there with 3,000 people. But you know, it's a very, very large club, so you can see why it would be allowed. And they ran the club really well with all the safety things in place. Mind you, you know, we were lining up in the bar in one of the breaks, and they had those big circles on the ground where you're supposed to stand. Some of us stood on the circles, and then a young fella, I would say 18 if he's a day, decided he would step in between the round circles because there's all this space, and he's like, why would you waste that space? So he stood in front of me. Yes, but I said, young fella, you need to go to the back of the queue. But it was actually a thrill being out, and I was worried I was going to have FOGO. Now, I don't know if anyone else has already used this. FOGO, to me, is fear of going out instead of fear of missing out. And I did, you know, leading up to the Saturday night, I did have a bit of FOGO because I knew that, you know, the doors were open. I was out in the big wide world again, but actually it took about 3 seconds to get used to it, and I kept my distance. The stage is literally in like a brass cage, which is automatically separated from the audience. And it was actually such a pleasure to be out there doing a gig and playing for people live again. It was wonderful. I'm hoping, would somebody mind sending me a comment? You may have already, but on my phone it doesn't seem to work. And so I'll know that if, you know, I am sitting here talking to myself or not, because technology has just not been my friend. And earlier I was just talking and nobody could hear. Anyway, this week is also a very exciting week. As I said, it never rains but it pours, so I'm not used to doing 1 gig a week. In the old days I would do 4 or 5 and that would just be normal. But this week I've got 2 gigs again. So on Friday night we're back at Dom's at Penrith, so with our 3,000 friends. We'll be back there again. And if anyone is interested in coming out, if you haven't got FOGO, we are there from 8:30 to 12:30 and it's free. Fogo, do you like Fogo, John? Yay, I can see your comments. Do you like it? You can use that one. I'm sure someone has already come up with Fogo, but I thought it was kind of clever. Do you have Fogo? Look, I do wonder if I wasn't working myself, would I actually go out? I don't know. I might not. You know, we have some asthma in the family, and so we have been extra careful during this whole pandemic period, and we've got all our food delivered and we've barely been out. Having said that, now that the seal is broken and I've gone out to work, it is nice. I like the world, and it's pleasant to be out in the world. And, you know, I wash my hands 100 times a minute, but that's okay. So this week, yes, so it's Friday night at Dom's again at Panthers, and what we're doing, it's really interesting. It's, you know, with the footloose rules, you're not allowed to dance, even though you're allowed to stand knee deep at the bar and do everything else among 3,000 people, but you're not allowed to dance. So we've been briefed to do modern music, but instead of doing it in the usual style, to do it a bit like a postmodern jukebox swingy jazzy thing, which is awesome. It's a great idea. So the music is still relevant for, you know, the people in the bar who tend to be quite young, but it doesn't want to make them dance and get silly and sweat all over each other. And that actually worked really well last week, and it was lots of fun. So we're doing that again this Friday. And then on Sunday, the two of us, and we call ourselves nowadays Sing Little Sister, because you're not allowed to dance Little Sister, which was our name. We're doing a duo of a different kind at the Sovereign Room at the Star Casino. I haven't been there, but I believe it's been renovated recently, and it's supposed to be very swish, very gorgeous. So Joe Elms and I are going to be donning our fancy long dresses and doing a set there from 7 to 10 this Sunday night. So that's also exciting. So another week with 2 gigs. I seriously thought in the middle of all of this pandemic, you know, maybe a month or so ago, that I wouldn't be working again this year. I thought it was going to take that long before live music came back. I did think that if it did come back, it would come back for soloists and duos like it has. And it looks like that's mainly what it will be for the next little while at least. Having said that, the following week, on the 17th, I think, is we are doing the Fleetwood Mac show that I normally do as a 7-piece. We're doing an unplugged version of that, a 4-piece at the Brass Monkeys. So that'll be great as well. I mean, the music is the songs are so strong. The Fleetwood Mac songs are so great that you could play them on just about anything and they'd still be great songs. So as much as we're going to miss the whole band vibe, it's great that we can do the show at least in some form for now. So we're doing that as a 4-piece. And we're doing 2 seatings in the night. So obviously it's difficult for both the venue and the band to make the money that they need to make when there's a lot less people allowed in the venue. So they're going to do 2 seatings and have about half the people each time so that the social distancing can still happen. And we'll do slightly shorter shows and just do 2 of them. I wonder if that means we'll get to eat dinner twice, because I've got to admit, one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the reasons I love working at the Brass Monkey is the food is so good, and they really look after the bands. They always, you know, any more, and I'm, yes, can we have some of that and some of that? And of course I know the menu backwards, so they're very, very good to us. It's Lebanese food, and it's really, really excellent Lebanese food. But it's a lovely venue all round and a lovely place to work. And I've missed it because it's a place that I play fairly regularly. So that's very exciting, and that's coming up the following week. So normality, maybe. It feels like it's getting a little closer. Obviously, with everything happening in Victoria at the moment, and it's seeping over the border into New South Wales, it could go either way. None of us know, and you know, there's that FOGO, that fear of going out is definitely there, but we can just do our best to be careful. And it's just such a wonderful thing to be playing music live again that I'm going to try not to worry about that, and I'm going to focus on trying to do a good job and bring music back out into the world again. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I apologise for yet again more technology issues, and I really don't understand why. I mean, I know it's usually the user's fault, right? So I take responsibility, but I have a feeling maybe it was an internet connection issue. So yeah, I'll blame somebody else and something else instead of taking responsibility. But I do hope to see you next week. I've had some of my American friends have said this is really not a good time if you're based in America, which I completely understand. It's, 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that, depending on whereabouts in the States you are. And even though you can watch it back later, it's not the same as being able to send each other messages and comments and that kind of thing. So I will be planning a chat sometime next week, maybe Tuesday morning Sydney time, which should suit hopefully my American friends. And I'll post about that soon. I also do intend to do some more music when I do my live streams, but I've got kind of bigger plans for that. I want to do it a bit bigger and a bit fancier, and just with all these gigs coming up, that's kind of taken over for now. But watch this space. I will be back. Please take care of yourselves this week. Send me a message, and I hope to see you soon. All the best. Bye.